Happy New Year. It's great
Thank
to see you, Assemblymember Wicks. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me today. How was your holiday? How are you doing? I know you have two little ones at home. We're still in the global pandemic. So I just wanted to ask you, how are you doing?
Sure. Yeah, well, we couldn't get out of 2020 fast enough. I am just over 2020.
Yes, I think we all are.
Right, in many, many ways. We're doing well, all things considered. I mean, I feel like I'm lucky in many ways. I have stable income and a roof over my head and all those things, right? So I'm appreciative of that fact every single day.
Mhm.
The pandemic has been the pandemic. I think I've experienced what a lot of other people have experienced in terms of, no childcare for long stretches of time. We had an exposure. My daughter's preschool, their exposure, she was exposed for about 3 days to someone who was COVID positive. Turned out she ended up being negative, as did all the students. But the school shuts down when that happens, and dealing with sort of that sort of last minute stuff. I think many parents have done that. When the pandemic first hit, we didn't have childcare for a couple of months, and that was very, very difficult.
Yeah.
So I feel the feeling that many parents have felt of like, how am I going to juggle being a good parent, doing my job, all of those things at the same time, and again, we're lucky in that I'm able to juggle those things with my job, but many other parents, especially frontline workers, aren't able to. So I'm just appreciative of where I'm at and empathetic to people's struggles, but also renewed in my sense of we have to fix these problems, and I think what COVID for all of us was shine a very strong spotlight on the fact that our public policies have been failing working families, and they've been doing it before the pandemic. The pandemic has made it worse. But I don't want to go back to what was once. I want to go forward to a new vision of what we can do for our kids and for families.
Yeah, I think that's it, right. I mean, I think we're all glad 2021 is here, and it feels like it can be this restorative moment for our country, even though there's still so many challenges.
Yeah.
And people are still feeling the pain and the struggle of everything that has come with that. What are you looking forward to in this new administration, and what do you think we can do to really help address some of these issues?
The federal administration?
Yes.
Yes. Well, I don't know, I'm very optimistic. I mean, the challenge around the Senate is one that we'll have to contend with. But if you look at the Biden administration, the Biden-Harris administration, what they talked about in their campaign plan and during the transition in terms of their investments in paid leave and early childhood and in some of these really critical issues, they had probably one of the more robust platforms on the issue that we've seen of any presidential campaign to date. The challenge, I think, is how do you pay for all these things? And that's always the political challenge I think you have in Congress. And obviously there's fewer House seats we have to work with here. But I'm hopeful that the fact that the Biden team has sort of put a flag on the ground around these suite of issues, I think is important. And I'd love to see, this become a real issue in 2021 and 2022. I think what you see on this suite of issues around like childcare and paid leave is most people have experienced it viscerally in terms of the challenges this, in 2020, but they often think this is my own personal struggle, not this is a public policy failure.
Exactly.
And so what you have to do is say, you're not failing as a person, as a mom or a dad, the system is failing you. And it's incumbent upon our federal leaders and our state leaders to fix this problem. So it's my hope that we can kind of really galvanize around that, that Biden will want to push on that. And we can have good allies like Kirsten Gillibrand and Rosa DeLauro and many others, federally who will continue to push on this.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. I mean, you sort of made national news around just so your own, juggling of being a mom and having a new baby and trying to do your work. And you've just been a champion in the time that you've been in the legislature around these issues. What are you most excited about and looking forward to working on this coming year?
Well, the conversations I've been having with my colleagues and with advocates is, we can't go back to normal because that wasn't working for so many people. It never was working for many people, for low-income people in particular, disproportionate people of color, women of color in particular. So we can't go back to that because that was not working. So I think we need to use this moment to say, what is the California dream? You know, if you look at what's happening in California right now, you look at child poverty, you look at homelessness, you look at the achievement gap in terms of education, access to broadband, you know, a suite of issues. We're not doing what we need to be doing. So what I want to do is use this moment to say, what can we be? What are our possibilities? What are our opportunities? And for me, I think that's, you know, expanding our paid leave bills. You know, I'm working on a bill to redefine what chosen family is, right? Because most families are not your traditional nuclear family anymore, and people are caring for people in different ways. So we'd have more flexibility around that. I'm working on a bill that would add caregiving as a protected class, because many folks who are caregivers are discriminated against in the workplace. So I'm working on a suite of those bills. Some of my colleagues I know are working on, you know, expanding, you know, early childhood education, you know, wage replacement issues when it comes to paid leave, access to broadband. There's a suite of things that I think we need to really tackle with in terms of healthcare as well, that, you know, we need to address, and California can do that. You know, I think our challenge is the budget, of course. And that's where federal resources in terms of a large stimulus package is going to be really, really important for us.
Well, thank you. We are so grateful to have your leadership, your thoughtfulness, and for you to continue this great work. And we're excited to continue to do it together. So thank you so much for being here.
I always want to work with you guys, and you guys are such champions and great thought partners and great leaders in the space. So I really appreciate the opportunity.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks.